So welcome to day 84 through the Bible in 1 year. In today's video, we're going to be wrapping up the book of Judges. And if you want to get updates and notifications, follow along. You can go back and cover all the study videos we've done over the book of Judges, because we've got a whole playlist of the book of Judges as we walk through it. And you can get updates and subscribe and get notifications as we move into the next book in our Through the Bible in 1 year study, as we take the Bible in little tiny segments every single day, one day at a time. So let's get into it. So in this piece of text, like I said, we're wrapping up the book of Judges here, and we've gone through multiple different judges, some more popular than others. We wrapped up last video talking about getting to the climax of Samson's story and then going a bit further. In this video, we're going to continue on that theme of the aftermath of Samson ultimately. Okay, what came next after that? And it's going to segue into the next book, which is really synonymous and similar in a couple different ways to the book of Judges, because it's around the same kind of timeline. Okay, that's the book of Ruth. But let's get into today's video, and let's start at Judges 19, verse 1, and it reads, "And it came to pass in those days, when no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine played the whore against him, and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly and unto her, to bring her again, having his servant with him and a couple of asses. And she brought him into her father's house, and when the father of the damsel saw him," so right from the back, what we see here is this Levite guy who takes on a wife who turns out to now start playing the whore. Okay, and basically what happens is she runs away back to her father's house and leaves the husband. And the husband basically determines and says, you know what, I'm going to go and try and basically get her back. And it's interesting that the scripture says, when the father of the concubine, the father of this wife, sees the husband, he rejoices. And it makes sense for at least one reason, and that is the fact that she was playing the whore. And if people knew she was playing the whore, it's going to be extremely hard for someone else to actually take her on. But he's actually come back and he's speaking well and kindly and saying, well, basically he wants her back. Okay. 4. And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days. So they did eat and drink and lodged there. And it came to pass on the 4th day, when they arose early in the morning, that he rose up to depart. And the damsel's father said unto his son-in-law, Comfort thine heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go your way. So eat some bread, and then you can go. And they sat down and did eat, verse 6, and drink both of them together. For the damsel's father had said unto the man, Be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thine heart be merry. So they start drinking. Then he's like, okay, look, just stay the night, be happy, stay until tomorrow. 7. And when the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him, therefore he lodged there again. So tries to go. The father-in-law says, no, just stay, you go tomorrow. And he stays. Well, he says he wants to go. He says, no, stay. And then he stays. 8. And he arose early in the morning again on the 5th day to depart. And the damsel's father said, Comfort thine heart, I pray thee. And they tarried until afternoon. And they did eat, both of them. So stay, relax for a little bit. So they start eating again, both of them. 9. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the damsel's father, said unto him, Behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night. So again, he's doing the same thing. It's getting late. Stay. And if you've got family and in-laws and all this kind of stuff, you know how it goes. You come over, you stay, and then so it's time to go. No, stay a little bit longer. Come on, stay a little bit longer. And he's adhering every single time. And it says, Behold, the day groweth to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may be merry. And tomorrow get you early on your way, that thou mayest go home. What do you think is going to happen the next day? Okay. 10. But the man would not tarry that night. So he said, look, you know what? I'm tired. I'm sick and tired. Not I'm sick and tired, but I'm kind of paraphrasing and adding extra. But he's basically saying, look, I'm not staying tonight. Let me just keep it straight, completely scriptural. I'm not staying tonight. Okay. But he rose up and departed and came over against Jebus, which Jerusalem, and with him 2 asses saddled, his concubine also with him. So packed everything up and says, look, I'm going. Okay. 11. When they by Jebus, the day was far spent, and the servant said unto his master, come, I pray thee, and let us turn into this city of the Jebusites, and lodge in it. And his master said unto him, we will not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger, that not of the children of Israel. We will pass over to Gibeah. And he said unto his servant, come and let us draw near to one of these places to lodge all night in Gibeah or in Ramah. So they basically said, look, we're not going to go to where our people aren't. We want to go to where our people are. So let's go to Gibeah or in Ramah. Okay? Or Ramah. And they passed on and went their way, 14, and the sun went down upon them by Gibeah, which to Benjamin. Okay? 15, and they turned aside thither to go in to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat him down in the street of the city, for no man that took them into his house to lodging. So they're looking for a place, there's nowhere to stay. 16, and behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which also of Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah, but the men of the place, Benjamites. Okay, so there's this man who's out of Ephraim. Okay, so I assume he's from Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay, but he's sojourning in Gibeah, in the place of the Benjamites. Okay, 17. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the old man said, whither goest thou, and whence comest thou? So, where are you going? Where are you from? 18. And he said unto him, we passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence I went to Bethlehem, Judah, but I am going to the house of the Lord, and there no man that receives me to house. Okay, so from what the scripture is kind of saying to us, this guy is not even a Benjamite. Okay, they're from a similar kind of place, and maybe that's why he's so concerned about him. Because the people of the city, the Benjamites, aren't looking like the most hospitable people at this point. Okay, the most hospitable nation. But this guy's come out of the field in the evening from work, and now he's saying, where are you going? Where are you coming from? He's telling me, and look what it says. 19. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me, and for thy handmaid, and for the young man, with thy servants, no want of anything. And the old man said, peace with thee. Howsoever, all thy wants upon me, only lodge not in the streets. He's saying, look, whatever you do, stay with me. I don't want you to stay in the streets. 21. So he brought him into his house and gave provender unto the asses, and they washed their feet and did eat and drink. Very hospitable. 22. As they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain sons of Belial, beset the house round about. So they surrounded the house, beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, bring forth the man that came into thine house, that we may know him. Okay. And at this point, if you haven't already, alarm bells should be ringing in your head. Excuse me. For those of you who have been following along with us or know the story, with something that happened in Genesis, okay, when there was a certain guy in his house, he had visitors, and then all the men of the city came to that guy's house, and they're banging on the door and saying, bring out those men that came here tonight so we can know them. Now, for those of you who don't know the terminology, know when in this context, okay, of knowing someone, you're generally going to be talking about some sort of relations, okay? That's why it says in Genesis chapter 4, Adam knew his wife and she conceived. Okay, so you can get what I'm referring to in that particular situation. This is the same scenario here. And throughout the scriptures, there's loads of symmetrical and similar stories and events that happen, which will always get you thinking. Sometimes loads of the details are the same. At different points, some details are the same, and little details here and there are different, all that kind of stuff. But it's on you. But it's on you to look at these things and study it and to see the similarities and differences and draw conclusions. Okay. 23. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, I pray you, do not wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house, do not this folly. So he's pleading with them and urging them, don't do this wickedness. Okay. 24. Behold, my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seems good unto you. But unto this man do not so vile a thing. So the man is saying vehemently, no, I'm not going to bring this guy out for you. Look, he offers up his daughter, and he offers up the man's wife, the concubine. Okay? 25. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them, and they knew her and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. So they basically just had their way with her, forcefully, viciously, all night. And in the morning, when the morning came, I guess, when now it was plain and clear for everyone to see what was going on, then they let her go and said, just go about your business. 26. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day and fell down at the door of the man's house where her lord till it was light. And her lord rose up in the morning and opened the doors of the house and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was fallen down the door of the house, and her hand upon the threshold. And he said unto her, Up, and let us be going. But none answered. Then the man took her upon an ass, and the man rose up and gat him unto his place. So he's basically, it's morning time now, he can continue on his journey. After this woman's been viciously attacked all night, okay, not once, all night, okay. Her husband now come back and said, you know what, let's go into their place. And this is a really bizarre and crazy story and crazy chain of events. And there's so many things you can pick out for this. We can talk about what happens when a complete city and nation goes completely bonkers and crazy, okay? And some of those things will be picked up in this text as we continue. But there's so many different things going on here from so many different sides. But it just shows you what happens in a crazy environment, okay? When there's crazy stuff, there's guys offering up their daughters, offering up concubines, there's rapes happening all night. Just a lot of bizarre stuff happening in this city here, okay? 29. And when he was come into his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine and divided her with her bones into 12 pieces and sent her into all the coasts of Israel. So chopped her into 12 pieces, as in 12 tribes, and then sent her out to the different coasts of Israel. 30. And it was so that all that saw it said there was no such deed done nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak. So chapter 19 will continue because this story is in no way, shape or form over. 20, verse 1. Then all the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man from Dan even to Beersheba, with the land of Gilead unto the Lord in Mizpah. So everyone's drawn out now together. 2. And the chief of all the people of all the tribes of Israel presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God. 400,000 footmen that draw the sword. Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Mizpah. Then said the children of Israel, Tell how was this wickedness? So they're now querying the man. And Levi, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I came into Gibeah, that to Benjamin I and my concubine to lodge. And the men of Gibeah rose against me, and beset the house round about upon me by night. Thought to have slain me and my concubine, have they forced that she is dead. And I took my concubine and cut her in pieces and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel, for they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. So this guy basically is saying, look, they wanted to kill me, basically, which isn't what they even said they wanted to do, ultimately. And he's basically saying, and they have basically forced his wife, basically, which is a different way of saying what actually happened to her. And then as we continue reading, what does it say? 6, and I took my concubine and cut her in pieces and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel, for they have committed lewdness and folly in Israel. Okay, and I'd say that's an understatement if you ask me. Okay, but if it's worded as lewdness and folly in Israel, then it's like that for a reason, I guess. I know anyway. 7, behold, ye all children of Israel, Behold, ye all children of Israel, give here your advice and counsel. And all the people arose as one man, saying, we will not any go to his tent, neither will we any turn into his house. But now, this the thing which we will do to Gibeah, by lot against it. Okay, so they said, look, no one's going home. Okay, this isn't some small thing. We're going up to battle, and we're going by lot. Okay, 10. And we will take 10 men of 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of 1,000, and 1,000 out of 10,000, to fetch victual for the people, that they may do when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, according to all the folly that they have wrought in Israel. So now we're going to punish them. You're basically saying we're going to be taking 10% out of all these people. Remember, the scripture talks about how there was up to 400,000 footmen ready to war. 11. So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, knit together as one man, and they're all in unison here. Okay, it's not some people think something, some people think other thing. They say, look, this is justifiable by a war, by a battle. That's what's happened. Okay. 12. And the tribes of Israel sent men through all the tribe of Benjamin, saying, what wickedness this that is done among you? And this is vital, because this is what I believe Moses said to them in the Book of Deuteronomy, at least. Maybe he said it in Exodus as well, where he said, this is what God says, when you hear of wickedness in the particular city, okay, go and inquire what's happening in that city. And if it be true, then you bring judgment, okay? You don't just go and attack them just because you've heard something. You go and do an investigation, an inquiry, and then you make a decision. That's why it's interesting that they're saying it here. What is this that your wickedness that you're allowing to happen in your city, in your designation, okay, of the land? That is done among you. 13. Now therefore deliver the men, the children of Belial, which in Gibeah, that we may put them to death, and put away evil from Israel. But what did they do here? So you give us the men so we can kill them and judgment can be served. But what did the Benjamites do? But the children of Benjamin would not hearken to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. So what does that mean? Well, in some senses, in some ways, you can say, well, that means they're complicit. They're involved. They don't care what's happening. Okay? They don't mind what they're doing. 14. And not only did they say no, what did they do next? 14. But the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together out of their cities unto Gibeah to go out to battle against the children of Israel. So they're so vehemently against this retribution, they're actually going to fight their brothers, the other children of Israel, the other tribes, other 11 tribes, etc. 15. And the children of Benjamin were numbered at that time out of the cities 26,000 men that drew sword, beside the inhabitants of Gibeah, which were numbered 700 chosen men. Among all this people, 700 chosen men left-handed, everyone could sling stones at an hair and not miss. And the men of Israel beside Benjamin were numbered 400,000 men that drew sword. All these men of war, okay? I've seen that already earlier in the text, in this chapter. 18. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God, and asked counsel of God, and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah first. Now we're going to get into something else. I guess I'll just say it as after I've read it. 19. And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin. And the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah. So they've basically come out to war. 21. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 20 and 2,000 men. So they've actually gone to war and they've actually lost. First and foremost, 22,000 men have been basically taken out and killed. 22. And the people, the men of Israel, encouraged themselves and set their battle again in array in the place where they put themselves in array the first day. Okay, so another day now, they're basically coming out to battle. And what happens? 23. And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until even, and asked counsel of the Lord, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Lord said, go up against him. 24. And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day, and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel. Again, 18,000 men, all these drew the sword. So about 40,000 people have been wiped out over these 2 separate days. Now, what's something key in there? Okay, God told them to go and battle. Now, why is that important? Why am I drawing out? Why is that significant? Because the battle wasn't won on day 1. The battle wasn't won on day 2. Okay, but God was continuing to tell them to go. And at some point, some people, when God tells you to do something and the result that you want doesn't come straight away, what do some people do? They give up. But this is another case, another scenario, another case study, another story where you have to realize that, you know what, it's not always about receiving something that you want on day 1. It's about continual trusting in God and believing in what He's saying and doing what He's saying. And at some point, what He's saying is going to come to pass. Okay, He's not going to say you're going to deliver them and you're not going to deliver them. Okay, so even if you're asking God for things right now that you feel like aren't coming when you want them, just understand that God has a time. Okay, let's keep going. Then all the children of Israel, 26, and all the people went up. 26. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and came unto the house of God, and wept and sat there before the Lord, and fasted that day until even, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord for the ark of the covenant of God there in those days. And Phinehas the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days, saying, shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother, or shall I cease? And the Lord said, go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into thine hand. And Israel set lies in wait round about Gibeah. So, waiting around, compassed it, okay, waiting for them. 30. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the 3rd day, and put themselves in array against Gibeah as at other times. And the children of Benjamin went out against the people, were drawn away from the city, and they began to smite of the people, kill as at other times, in the highways of which one goeth up to the house of God. So they're basically getting the similar kind of results to start the 3rd day of battle. But the children of Israel said, let us flee and draw them from the city unto the highways. Okay, so it's sort of like tactic now. We come out and we run away, basically retreat. We want to get you to the highways. 33. And all the men of Israel rose up out of their place and put themselves in array at Baal Tamar. And the liers in wait of Israel came forth out of their places, out of the meadows of Gibeah. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and the battle was sore. But they knew not that evil was near them. And the Lord smote Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed of the Benjamites that day 25,000 and 100 men. All these drew the sword. So the children of Benjamin saw that they were smitten, for the men of Israel gave place to the Benjamites, because they trusted unto the liers in wait which they had set beside Gibeah. So they now realize, they're starting to realize, we only gave you this ground so we could come in behind you and actually take the city. 37. And the liers in wait hasted and rushed upon Gibeah, and the liers in wait drew along and smote all the city with the edge of the sword. Now there was an appointed sign, so they made an agreement. This is the sign, okay? 38. Now there's an appointed sign between the men of Israel and the liers in wait, that they should make a great flame with smoke rise up out of the city. So when you take over it, let a fire, a smoke ascend, and then we'll know that we've captured the city. 39. And when the men of Israel retired in the battle, Benjamin began to kill of the men of Israel about 30 persons. For they said, surely they are smitten down before us. So they've been killing thousands on day 1 and thousands on day 2, but this day they only managed to kill 30 people. Okay, this is extremely low compared to what happened to the previous days of battle, day 1 and day 2, or day 2 and day 1. For they said, surely they are smitten down before us as the first battle. 40. But when the flame began to rise up out of the city with a pillar of smoke, the Benjamites looked behind them, and behold, the flame of the city ascended up to heaven. And when the men of Israel turned again, and this is similar to some of the things we covered in the book of Joshua as well, where similar stories occurred like this. 41. And when the men of Israel turned again, the men of Benjamin were amazed, for they saw that evil was come upon them. Therefore they turned before the men of Israel unto the way of the wilderness, but the battle overtook them, and them which out of the cities they destroyed in the midst of them. They enclosed the Benjamites round about, chased them, trode them down with ease over against Gibeah toward the sun rising. And there fell of Benjamin 18,000 men, all these men of valor. So they've lost their best men, all of their army basically. 45. And they turned and fled toward the wilderness unto the rock of Rimmon, and they gleaned of them in the highways 5,000 men, and pursued hard after them unto Giddom, and slew 2,000 men of them. So they're continuing this to wage a warfare here and continue to destroy them. So that all which fell that day of Benjamin were 25,000 men that drew the sword, all these men of valor. 47. But 600 men turned and fled to the wilderness unto the rock Rimmon, and abode in the rock Rimmon 4 months. Okay, so they basically managed to escape to this sort of cave place. 600 men of them, and they stayed there 4 months. 48. And the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin, and smote them with the edge of the sword as well, the men of city as the beast, and all that came to hand. Also they set on fire all the cities that came to. So they're completely trying to utterly destroy and wipe them out. So let's get into the last text for our study today, and basically to wrap up and close the book of Judges in regards to our Through the Bible in 1 Year study. 21 verse 1 reads, Now the men of Israel had sworn in Mizpah, saying, There shall not any of us give his daughter unto Benjamin to wife. So not only are they killing them, they don't want to actually even exchange women with them so they can marry, and actually they want to completely wipe them out and not sustain them in any shape or form. 2. And the people came to the house of God and abode there till even before God, and lifted up their voices and wept sore, and said, O Lord God of Israel, why is this come to pass in Israel, that there should be today one tribe lacking in Israel? And it came to pass on the morrow that the people rose early and built there an altar and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. So they've wiped them out pretty much. Now they've basically come to the realization, why really was this allowed to happen? And why should one tribe out of the 12, etc., be cast away forever? So they set up an altar, they start making offerings, and it says, verse 5, And the children of Israel said, Who among all the tribes of Israel that came not up with the congregation unto the Lord? For they had made a great oath concerning him that came not up to the Lord to Mizpah, saying, He shall surely be put to death. So they've made this meet up, okay, and they're saying, look, whoever doesn't come is going to be put to death. 6, and who was it? And the children of Israel repented them for Benjamin their brother, and said, There is one tribe cut off from Israel this day. How shall we do for wives for them that remain? Seeing we have sworn by the Lord that we will not give them of our daughters to wives. And they said, What one of the tribes of Israel that came up and to Mizpah to the Lord? And behold, there came none to the camp from Jabesh Gilead to the assembly. For the people were numbered, and behold, none of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead there. Okay? So they basically do the census, and they realize we're all numbering ourselves, and there's none from this particular group. No one from Jabesh Gilead has shown up. 10. And the congregation sent thither 12,000 men of the valiantest, and commanded them, saying, Go and smite the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, with the women and the children. So wipe them all out. Now, why would they do that? Because they made a strong oath. They all were in agreement, okay? Oh, but women were killed and children were killed. They made a strong oath that if we don't come, we die, okay? They didn't come and they died, okay? Now, I mentioned this already under different circumstances and different contexts, but again, I'll mention it here. This is what happens when the wrong people, or people are making crazy decisions. How can you make an oath, okay, that if you don't show up, then you're liable to die, but then you don't show up, okay? It's crazy. And we live in a world today where, and even at this point we're reading about, decisions have effect, decisions have ramifications. There's some people out there that do crazy things and their family is affected, okay? This is the same scenario. 11. And this the thing that ye shall do. Ye shall utterly destroy every male and every woman that hath lain by man. And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins that had known no man by lying with any male. And they brought them unto the camp to Shiloh, which in the land of Canaan. And the whole congregation sent to speak to the children of Benjamin that in the rock Rimmon, and to call peaceably unto them. So they say, look, let's basically wrap this up. We're not trying to be at war with you anymore. They repented, basically they changed their mind and said, you know what, after we've actually done this, we don't want to wipe out a tribe, okay? Let's have peace. 14. And Benjamin came again at that time, and they gave them wives which they had saved alive of the women of Jabesh Gilead, and yet so they sufficed them not. There's 400 young women that they've got from Jabesh Gilead that are basically by themselves, so being married would make sense, so they could actually get and be taken care of and not fall into crazy situations or even crazier situations. But I remember there were 600 men in the rock Rimmon, okay? And it's basically saying the amount of women didn't suffice the men, because there's obviously at least 200 more men than the women here, okay? 15. And the people repented them for Benjamin, because that the Lord had made a breach in the tribes of Israel. Then the elders of the congregation said, How shall we do for wives for them that remain, seeing the women are destroyed out of Benjamin? And they said, An inheritance for them that be escaped of Benjamin, that a tribe be not destroyed out of Israel. 18. Howbeit we may not give them wives of our daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn, saying, Cursed he that giveth a wife to Benjamin. Then they said, Behold, a feast of the Lord in Shiloh yearly, which on the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goeth up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south of Lebonah. Therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, Go and lie in wait in the vineyards, and see and behold, if the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in dances, then come ye out of the vineyards, and catch you every man his wife of the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. So basically saying, look, there's this festival, wait around basically, and if ladies come out and they come to dance, then basically find wives of those women that are there, okay? And then go basically back to Benjamin and replenish that land, basically. Replenish your tribe, replenish that tribe. Basically, 22. And it shall be, when their fathers or their brethren come unto us to complain, that we will say unto them, Be favourable unto them for our sakes, because we reserved not to each man his wife in the war. For ye did not give unto them at this time, ye should be guilty. And the children of Benjamin did so, and took wives according to their number of them that danced, whom they caught. And they went and returned unto their inheritance, and repaired the cities, and dwelt in them. And the children of Israel departed thence at that time every man to his tribe and to his family, and they went out from thence every man to his inheritance. So they basically was able to get the number of wives that satisfied the 600 men. Okay, so every man basically could get a wife. They went back to Benjamin, they repaired the cities, etc. They basically say to the men of Shiloh, okay, look, be favorable to them. We've kind of set our daughters away from them, so for the war, but basically you won't be guilty. Okay. And the last verse in the book of Judges reads, in those days no king in Israel, every man did right in his own eyes. And to me, even though we've covered this so many different times through our book of Judges study, we've gone through this scenario where I brought up so many different times that key phrase, and I mentioned so many different times that it's all the phrase of Judges, the phrase of the book almost certainly is every man did what was right in his own eyes. Okay, so it wasn't necessarily something in regards to we're all worshipping God, because the book of Judges is a topsy-turvy, up and down book of the Israelites doing right, then doing wrong, going into captivity, calling on the name of the Lord, getting delivered, and then doing that whole process all over again. And it's fitting that happens time and time again. And we're introduced to different judges, okay, key characters in the Bible, like Jephthah and Gideon and Samson and Deborah, and all of these different other just people in Judges as well, like Shamgar and Jael and Sisera and Manoah, and all of these different people, okay, Delilah, the Philistines, all of this different stuff is really short book, easy to read, but so much different stuff, so many dynamics to what we're reading, and that's what makes it a really great book. So I hope if this is your first time, this was really beneficial to you. If you've been following us through the Judges study as a whole, I hope this was really helpful to you in your study of Judges and just in how to attack the scriptures on a day-to-day basis and actually learn and actually grow. And if you're looking forward to us getting into the next book, which is the Book of Ruth, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, and look forward to our next video, which is going to be about our next video in the series of Through the Bible in 1 Year, which is going to be a book study on the Book of Ruth. So on that note, thanks for tuning in. Next book's only going to take one video, okay, because we're going to cover all 4 in one video. But hopefully I'll see you there. Comment below the video as well, thoughts and thinking, anything you want me to help you with, and I'll try and help you as I can. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, see you on the next video, and don't forget to swim daily in the Word of God. Thanks and take care.